What's up, guys? Once again, it's time for the monthly market update, month of February edition. Let's go. Sales activity. 4,783 transactions were reported on the Toronto Real Estate Board in February. This represents a 1,683 transaction increase month over month to January. In my eyes, this is seasonal. Obviously, February is always much busier than January. However, these numbers represent a 47% drop compared to February of 2022 saw 9,028 transactions. Obviously, this is a significant drop in activity. Time to take a look at average prices. Once again, here's a graphic that I'm going to put on your screen to show you the average prices for all four major property types in Toronto and in the GTA. Now this image here is more relevant because it's going to show you year-over-year price increases or declines. For the foreseeable future, we're going to see rather dramatic drops in year-over-year prices just because February of 2022 was absolute market peak. Detached, semi-detached, townhome, and condos are all in the red by a significant amount. In Toronto, detached homes are down 17.5% and the GTA 21.5%. Semi-detached 15% and 26%. Townhomes are down 11% and 18%, and even condos, which are performing quite well on a year-over-year basis compared to peak, are down 11.4% and 12.4%. Keep in mind, these are year-over-year numbers, but if we look at it month over month, January to February, we actually saw a price increase overall of 4.5%. And this is going to reflect well in the next slide when we take a deep look into condos specifically. So here you're looking at the condo average dollar per square foot in Toronto and downtown. Month over month, Toronto condos are actually flat. They're at $928 per square foot. Downtown Toronto, however, has seen an increase of 3.3% month over month, January to February, and are now at $1,050 per square foot. So to determine market direction, we look at two indicators: months of inventory and total inventory of residential listings. So months of inventory in Toronto is up 0.1%. It's sitting at 2.3 months. Now this is still very much in a seller's market territory simply because there's such a shortage of new listings, and you're going to see that in the next chart. Here you can see that we're actually rather behind the norm in terms of seasonal listings based on the evidence that I saw. February of this year saw the lowest number of new listings in the GTA that we've seen over the past 20 years. And if you compare that to Vancouver real estate market, Vancouver saw the lowest number of new residential listings in the past 26 years in the month of February. As always, to gauge the rental market, we're going to take a look at the Rentals.ca National Rent Rankings report for the month of March. Toronto, once again, actually saw an increase in rental prices for both one-bedroom and two-bedroom condominiums month over month compared to January. A 1.8% increase for one bedrooms and 2.7% increase for two bedrooms. Year over year, we're still seeing massive gains of 21.5% and 19.4%. Just last month, I was saying that I was seeing rental inventory build and some of the prices were starting to come down slightly, and February flips that all back on its head, and once again, we're seeing rental prices increase. As usual, my favorite part, the macro picture. So on March 8th, the Bank of Canada had its interest rate meeting, and they chose to keep the interest rates unchanged for the first time. Tiff Macklem, during his press conference, emphasized the importance of paying attention to the incoming economic data and the fact that the Bank of Canada is still open to rate hikes depending on that data. The next Bank of Canada meeting will be April the 12th, and the rates are very likely to remain the same. Last Stats Canada report was published on February the 21st, and it showed inflation CPI at 5.9%, so just 0.1% below the expectations. Inflation is coming down, but not nearly fast enough. US just released the CPI for February on March the 14th. The inflation came in at 6%, just in line with analyst expectations. However, 3 times as high as the Fed wants it to be. The Federal Reserve will announce its next interest rate decision on March the 21st, and all signs are pointing to the fact that there will be another rate hike, either 25 or 50 basis points. It's important to mention the recent turmoil in the banking sector with the collapse of the 16th largest bank in the United States called SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. This is certainly ringing alarm bells and sending ripples through the banking industry. It's interesting to see whether this is going to affect the Fed's decision to hike interest rates or not. This was the first banking collapse in the US since the 2008 financial crisis. So as for the feet on the ground perspective, when it comes to resale properties, specifically, we are still seeing significant interest. Any new listing that hits the market that is good still gets multiple offers and will sell over ask. If you're one of those people that's currently sitting on the sidelines, you have a property to sell that you're potentially thinking of selling, right now is a very good time because you're listing into a market that has very low inventory. This is very beneficial for you to get top dollar for your property. So as far as the rental market goes, as you saw, we did see another month-over-month price increase. This could be attributed to seasonality, in my opinion, as I do expect to see rental prices continue to moderate throughout the rest of 2023, because keep in mind that we have a record number of new condo completions taking place this year. As I mentioned in my last video, Precon had room to run, specifically the 2 really good new projects that we're launching called MPV2 in Brampton as well as LSQ in the city of Toronto, and they both exceeded expectations in terms of sales numbers. Yes, MPV2 sold about 60 to 70% of the project, which is incredibly impressive. And with regards to LSQ, I don't have the exact sales percentage, but I can say that the builder sold twice as many units as they had anticipated to sell originally once they launched. So needless to say, incredibly impressive. There are new launches in the pipeline coming soon, such as Raglan House, Daniels on Parliament South Tower, Center Court's new project called Kipling Station. I do believe that these projects will experience slower sales activity just because I think that most of the interest, pre-construction interest, and buyers were absorbed into the 2 projects that launched earlier, MPV2 and LSQ. Thank you guys for watching the monthly market update video. I'm trying to make these as short, as informative as possible. Feel free to provide some feedback on how you're enjoying the videos, and I'll see you next month.